Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to UnitedQ BBQ Podcast, the only barbecue podcast radio in the UK, brought to you by your host Dan from UnitedQ and his co-host BBQForte.
Hello.
And this episode is brought to you by our kind sponsors, ProQ Smokers. ProQ is dedicated to providing you with quality smoking products with top-notch service and free advice for beginners to pit masters. You can find them on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram under ProQ Smokers. And on today's show, we've got Danny from Bristol Drum Smokers. Hi, Danny.
How you doing, guys?
Yeah, great. Thanks for being on the show today, Danny.
Pleasure. Thanks for having me, man.
Could you introduce yourself for our listeners, please?
Of course. Yeah, my name's Danny Hawk. I live in Bristol and I run Bristol Drum Smokers, and we custom make barbecues and drum smokers for people that love smoking.
Awesome. Yeah, so I've seen lots of these drums that you've built out there on the web already. What got you into barbecue in the first place?
In the first place, I think, I've always been a foodie. I've always loved food, always looking out for new foods, new techniques. And obviously living in Bristol, I was able to go to the first grill stock. I'm not too sure what year it was, but it was a fair few years ago now. And I think that was where I had my first taste of real barbecue. And then I was just kind of intrigued by it, really. And then, obviously, more restaurants opening. It was a bit more accessible. Other people were doing it. Then I kind of just wanted to try it out for myself, really, and just started experimenting. I mean, I've not actually been into cooking, authentic barbecue for that long. But once you start doing it, as you know, you get fully hooked on it. It's pretty addictive stuff, isn't it?
Very, very, yeah. It's taken over our lives now.
Consumed our lives.
I mean, yeah. So it was just, just being around that sort of. I mean, as you know, it's a lot more popular now than it was sort of 5-10 years ago. So you just taste different things. People doing different burgers, pulled pork, ribs, and then it's like, right, how can I do that? And then it started. That sort of led me to get my first. I just went up to B&Q one day and they just had some kettle barbecues in there, and I thought, this could be the start of something. So yeah, I just bought a little kettle barbecue, and then it was kind of like, right, I need something a little bit bigger, as you do, and then.
What was it that did you start on was it a Weber kettle?
Well, do you know what? I've still got it. It's not even a Weber kettle. I mean, it does the same thing. It's got, it's the same thing. It's just not as posh as a Weber one, unfortunately. It got me into it, It was,
awesome.
It's the same size as one of the bigger Webers. I think it's like 57 centimeters, the bigger one.
Yeah.
You can fit a fair amount of food on it, and you can cook indirectly on it, which was kind of what I wanted to be able to do, as well as grill. So, I mean, I think for £100 or whatever it was, it kind of that opened up the doors really for getting into it a lot more. But yeah,
that's one of the beautiful things about barbecue, though, is that you don't need an awful lot of money or anything. You could, just a few bricks, and you could build yourself a. I'm quite into the whole build your own things, and I've tried building a few things myself, and I just think that's the beauty of it. You don't actually need so much money to get into it. It's one of those things that you could actually just chuck a few bits together and make yourself a smoker, or there's like kits and stuff online. There's people like you who are putting out smokers, and there's just so much around now that it's actually quite an easy thing to get into, and it's such a fun thing to get into. All you need is a little bit of outside space, which is wicked.
Exactly. This is it, and a bit of time and a bit of patience, and off you go. Yeah, it's perfect. So yeah, I mean, that's how it started, really. Just from buying a little B&Q kettle barbecue, and then it kind of led to sort of looking at, different smokers, and then I was scouring Gumtree, I think, and I came across this gigantic offset smoker, and I thought, wow, I need to get that. I think it was like £50 or something. It was so cheap. It was pretty battered, but my dad brought it up from Plymouth for me, and when it arrived, it was it was a bit shonky, but I just I gave it a bit of TLC, did it up a little bit, and I cooked on that for a while, and that was cool. The capacity was great and everything, but that was kind of a full-time job cooking on that thing. Do you know what I mean? It was it didn't hold its heat very well, and it was literally just sort of applying coals every half an hour.
Constantly stoking it.
It's cool. Do you know what I mean? When you're getting into it, I think that's a great way to learn. You just have to tend to the fire quite a bit and keep an eye on things. And it was great. And that sort of lasted for a while. And then it was like kind of, I want to be able to like chill with my guests and stuff, and I've got people over, and I want to be able to like go out for a bit. I don't want to constantly be shoveling coals onto a fire all the time. And that's when I started looking into different types of smokers and started doing a bit of research, really. And obviously, I explored all the sort of standard ones that people look at, really, which is Pro Qs that you guys use, the Smoky Mountains, and Drum Smokers. So yeah, it sort of progressed through there, really.
Yeah, and that's another thing. That's another beautiful thing about barbecue is like the way it is that you can actually, like, you can get involved as much as you want now, and you can step away as much as you want now. Some of these cookers now, I mean, like for instance, like the Green Mountain grills, for instance, you can just hook up to a temperature. It's all done Wi-Fi, and you can just walk away and let the smoke do its magic, and just come back to it in 16, 20 hours, whatever you want to do, and come back to it, and you got the cook. Or again, like you said, you can go for like an offset where you've got it's a lot of fire management and stuff like that, and you can be as involved as you want to be, and that's the beauty of it. And if you get used to your smoker and get to know it, which is the most important thing, obviously. But like you said, I mean, like my Pro Q, I can go to sleep and know in the morning that I'm going to wake up and it will be at the temperature I want it to be at. And that's just from getting to know it and using it and practicing, and that is the beauty of it now, is that's the sort of, I'm amazed by it, and people are amazed by it when I still am amazed by it myself, that I can go to bed and wake up and that I've got this fire that's in the bottom of here. Yeah, it is
a beautiful thing. Yeah.
So what made you go with the drums then?
Well, it was just from doing a lot of research, and what happened was I actually went onto the British Barbecue Society Facebook page. I just stumbled across it through Google, I think, and I put a post up on there just asking if anyone had a second-hand smoker to sale, because I wasn't really, do you know what I mean? It was at that point where I didn't really want to throw like 400 quid at something straight away. I wanted to sort of, you know what I mean? Because I didn't know if I was going to be using it too much. So I posted that up, and everyone was like, "Oh, if you want a bit of a budget," which I was at the time. Matt Deacon, who is pitmaster for barbecue team Smokers Pokers, he basically put me forward to them basically, and he was like, "I just made one of these, they're rock solid. Look into it." And I looked into it, and I was like, "Wow, they're pretty cool. I need to make one of those," because I enjoy the building aspect of things as well, and it's kind of like I'm probably going to get a bit more enjoyment out of this if I actually put it together myself and work it like that, and that I just sort of went to that option just because it seemed right at the time, really. It was in my budget. I got to build it, and they just look pretty cool,
Yeah, that's awesome. I guess it's like a manly thing when you build something yourself. There's always that bit of pride, and like you just get to always in your mind it's a bit of you, really, isn't it? So you got that chance to build it yourself and everything. So that's really cool. And I know a lot of the sort of winning American sort of barbecue teams at the minute. The championship teams are using the drum smokers, and Smoking Hills, I think it is, who won the World Food Championships with barbecue. I mean, that's what they're using. They're using drum smokers as well. So I know they're really, really popular. I haven't actually had a chance to properly use one, so it's something I'm definitely interested in getting involved with.
They're awesome cookers, man. I mean, obviously it's an all-in-one unit. There's no gaps. There's nowhere for sort of heat to escape. So they hold their temperature sort of rock solid. And obviously the drums that we use, and the drums, for the gateway smokers that are popular as well in America, the steel's actually pretty thick, so a lot thicker than some of your cheaper offsets and stuff that you get over here. So they hold their temperature really well. They're really good in the wind. They're really good in the rain, and obviously the capacity of them as well. You can put quite a lot of charcoal on there, so you can cook for a long, long time. So yeah, and obviously they seem to enjoy cooking a little bit hotter as well, which is good. You can cook a little bit quicker on them as you need to. So they're perfect for what I need them for, really.
So do you tend to be cooking a bit more hot and fast then? Is that your sort of style?
Do you know what? My magic number seems to be 260. It just seems to be where my smoker likes to sit nicely forever. And every time I cook something, I'm just sort of not really worry about the temperature too much and just let the smoker do the work. I've had really, really good results with everything at 260, so I kind of stick to that, to be honest with you. So anything around that, I mean, I do my chickens and things like that. I do a lot hotter. I sort of cook, well over 300, between 325 and 350 Fahrenheit on the chickens. I'm still a bit scared to cook a brisket that hot though, to be honest with you. So when I do a brisket, I'll keep it quite low because I'll do that overnight normally. And if I can't keep an eye on it or whatever, I just, there's less to worry about. I know I'm not going to wake up in the morning and just sort of have a brisket biscuit sat in the smoker,
The name's gone from my head, but I actually saw someone on the one of the forums, the Country Would Smoke forum, who had hot and fast some short ribs, a rack of short ribs the other day, and then Kelly used his technique, Kelly Bramhill that is, and used his technique and she posted up some pictures hot and fast of some beef, and they looked so good.
Absolutely nailed those.
Yeah, so I'm just like, I don't know. I'm like a bit skeptic. The beef short ribs, like they're like my favourite thing to barbecue, and I'm like, hot and fast it, and I just see what those two had done. I'm now like, where can I get myself a rack of? I need to go get myself a rack of short ribs and give it a try. Yeah. So that's my next cook.
At the end of the day, you don't know until you try these things, and I mean, to be honest with you, I've had better results cooking a little bit hotter. When I do my beef ribs, it's, like I said, between sort of like 260 and 275. Really, that's the sort of area that I cook in. But that's partly just because the smoking seems to like to sit at that, temperature. And like I said, it cooks a little bit quicker. I always get a really nice bark when I'm cooking at that temperature. Each to their own. Everyone's got their different techniques, but that's kind of just works for me, really. But yeah, I mean, Ed from Bunch of Swines is always cooking hot and fast in his drums, and obviously he wins competition after competition. He knows what he's doing. So, yeah, definitely start playing around some hot and fast, I think.
Can you describe what a drum smoker is to someone who doesn't know what a drum smoker is?
So, our drum smokers are 55-gallon steel drums, which are like direct from the factory, so they're not, lacquered or anything like that. So it's basically a steel drum. At the bottom, you have some sliding vents that are going to control your temperatures. And they're pretty sensitive as well, so obviously you open them up when you want more heat, and you close them down when you want to, stabilise the temperature and cool it down. They contain a charcoal basket, which is adjustable on my drums, so you can have them at two different heights, so you can use them for grilling at the top, and then you can put them at the bottom for smoking. And then there's a couple of grill bolts inside that hold the grill grates on. And there's some vents in the top. So it's very simple. You just fill your charcoal basket up, apply some, lit charcoal to the top of the unlit stuff, put it to the bottom, open up your vents until you're sort of close to your target temperature, and then close them down so they're just slightly open. And that way you're going to have good airflow coming through the bottom. Smoke's going to be coming up, and you've got a vent in the top, which you keep open most of the time, so you've got that airflow going through. And that's it. It's just basically a can with some charcoal in the bottom and a grill grate. It's very simple, but very effective.
So you can have your fire, your charcoal nice and close at the top, and you can sort of direct grill. And at the bottom, do you have any sort of plate or hot plate in there so you can indirect, or is there?
Yeah, this is something that, I mean, they're really versatile. So I mean, quite often I'll use a heat deflector where you've got some hooks at the bottom where you hook your charcoal basket into, so it's not actually touching the bottom of the drum, so you've got a good airflow going through. And then there's some hooks halfway up, which you can either use to put your charcoal basket on, so you can do some direct grilling on the top, or you can use the hooks at the sort of in the middle of the drum to put another cooking grate on, and then you can either put a water pan on there, you can put a heat deflector on there. So you can cook truly indirect, or you can cook directly over the coals. I mean, it depends on what you go for, really. Personally, I like the flavour of fat hitting the coal, because it kind of bastes the meat, and it does give it a slightly different flavour. But perhaps for, you know, a brisket or something you're going to be cooking for well over 12 hours, you might want to put a deflector in there, just because, you know, it might get a little bit too smoky, or there might be too much fat hitting the fire over a long period of time. So, you know, it's up to you really how you work it. But I use both techniques for different styles of cooks, really.
Yeah, awesome. So you can keep it direct, but you can increase the distance if you wanted to without the heat deflector by putting the charcoal at the bottom, or you can direct it like sort of whilst you're closer to the charcoal, or again you can have it. So it's so versatile. That's awesome. That's one of the things I love about the Pro Q. Is that its versatility is just like next to none. But it sounds like these drum smokers can be just as versatile, which is awesome.
Definitely. I mean, I've got a Pro Q myself. I was lucky enough to win one in one of their recipe competitions back in the summer, which I was pretty stoked about. I got it's Pro Q. It's the middle range one. Is it the Elite? Is that what it's called?
Yeah,
There's
Frontier
XL,
Elite, I think.
One. That's the one I've got. Yeah, and it's the fact that you can change the stackers around and sort of change when you're in the middle of a cook and just swap things around. I think that's genius. Really, really cool.
Well, what a prize that was to win a Pro Q. What recipe did you use? Can you give us a run through the recipe?
I did. It was a kind of like, imagine a Scotch egg, but instead of egg in the middle, it was mac and cheese. So it's kind of a mac and cheese sort of wrapped in spicy sausage meat, and then wrapped in bacon, and then smoked over cherry. I think I did it, and then glazed it at the end. Pretty awesome. They were good, man. They were good.
I think I've actually seen Ty cook those. I think I've seen Ty.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure
he loves them. I think. Yeah, he loves them. But I was quite surprised. I was so stoked when I won that, obviously. And they hooked me up proper. I obviously sent me the smoker, sent me about 5-6 bags of their smoking wood, like a thermo pen, a t-shirt, just loads of goodies basically. So yeah, big up Ty for that.
Awesome.
So
what goes into your mac and cheese then?
I actually use a bit of a weird technique that I sort of it's a bit of a modernist mac and cheese really. It uses this stuff called sodium citrate, which is like a citric salt, which you can buy online. But it basically makes you can turn any cheese into a liquid form. Whereas, you know, if you were just to chuck a block of cheese into a saucepan and try and melt it, it's not going to work, is it? All the fats are going to separate. But what this actually does is binds all the fats and the proteins together, so you can turn any cheese into like a sauce. So you just literally need like a little bit of beer. So when I'm making my mac and cheese, it's literally a little bit of beer in the bottom, then I put a sodium citrate, and then you put your cheese in and stir it over heat, and it literally melts it down into like a pure sort of cheese sauce. And obviously it doesn't mask like when you use a roux, you're using a butter and a flour, which is kind of masked.
Yeah, I was going to say, you're not making a cheese sauce, then, are you? You're actually just putting cheese in.
It actually is like a cheese sauce,
cheese.
Not a white sauce, an actual cheese sauce. Wow, this is epic.
Yeah. You should see our faces now. We keep looking at each other like we've discovered something amazingly new.
Ridiculous.
What is this magic wizardry you described to us?
I'll send you a link for it. And obviously, it's just basically a really intense flavour. It sets really well as well. So I'm kind of giving away all my techniques here that I'm planning to use.
That's what we're all about.
Keep coming. So what cheeses do you go for?
Well, you can do. I mean, in my mac and cheese, I like to use a nice strong cheddar. I might use a little bit of mozzarella, and I normally throw a little bit of blue cheese as well because I'm a big blue cheese fan. But another cool thing about this technique is you can make like American style processed cheese slices. You know how they melt, but they haven't really got any flavour, so they look, the traditional American cheese is quite bland, but it melts really nicely on burgers. You can literally make cheese slices that actually taste like cheese but melt like American cheese, if you know what I mean. So it's just awesome. You can make like blue cheese slices, or you can make smoked applewood cheese slices. It's
so the technique on that is that just like making the cheese sauce you've described using, like, for instance, like the beer, the sodium magic
sodium
stuff,
yeah,
and then adding the cheese, and then what, you just put it out on a tray and then let it set.
So you mix you cook pasta in it, you lay it down on a tray, so it's about, I don't know, an inch thick or something. You let that set in the fridge, and then for at least sort of 4 or 5 hours, so it's nice and firm. And then you take it out, make sure you've got nice wet hands so it doesn't stick to them too much, and then you sort of cut the chunks out into little squares and try and form them into like sort of golf ball sort of size. And then you lay your sausage meat out. And I always have like a bit of barbecue rub or whatever sort of seasonings I've got to hand to that. And then you just sort of mould it around the mac and cheese. You've got a nice sort of, Scotch egg type size ball. And then flatten out some bacon so it's not too thick. Sort of bash it down with a knife or a rolling pin, and then just wrap your bacon around the sausage meat. Let it set in the fridge again, and just get it on the smoker. A couple of hours at about 250. Give it a little glaze with some maple syrup, and you're laughing basically.
Nice. Do you ever put a smoked cheese into it or not?
You could definitely put a smoked cheese in there. That's what I mean. It's totally up to you how you want to style your mac and cheese, really. Yeah. But everyone's got their own techniques and things they like to use for sure.
You've just shared an epic ingredient with us, so I'm going to share something with you that I recently discovered. It's Quick's Farm Cheese from Exeter. It's a smoked. Ben's got it up on his screen here. I guess he was about to say something. They do a smoked oak, and I was in Waitrose of all places, and I was like, what smoked cheese do you have? And I was like, I was going to be making a mac and cheese, and I wanted some smoked cheese for it. And they were like, oh, have you tried this one? And I was like, nope, never heard of it in my life, never seen it. It's a local cheese. I was like, I'm all for that. Give me a bit.
Yeah.
And I've never. It was absolutely epic. Like
it's the best cheese we've ever eaten.
Yeah, like a nice mature cheddar, but with an awesome smoke to it. It's the best cheese I've ever had in my life. And I was like, yep, give me that.
Quick makes some amazing cheese anyway, so I can imagine it was on point, definitely. But I'll keep an eye out for some of that.
Yeah, definitely look at it. Yeah, they do, and they oak smoke it with their own oak off of the farm as well.
Yeah, they cut down their own oak trees and use them to smoke with, which is pretty epic. So, all for that.
I'm probably as fanatical about cheese as I am barbecue, so I'm going to get on that for sure.
I do an oak smoked goat's cheese as well.
Awesome.
Lovely.
So, what about when it comes to, like, you described that you put some like rub and stuff in there, maybe? What rubs do you tend to use? Do you make your own rub guy, or do you buy in rubs?
Yeah, do you know what? I've got. I'm quite lucky in Bristol. We've got some cool places. There's a place called Scoopaway, which is it's a health food shop, but out the back they've kind of got. Imagine a sweet shop, but for spices. So they've just got big tubs of spices, and you literally go in there and you just scoop what you want, put it into a bag, and they weigh it and you buy it. So
awesome.
It's really, really cheap. They've literally got everything in there. I just enjoy the whole process, really. I like having a good stock of herbs and spices. I like mixing stuff up. I like doing stuff to my own taste. So it'd be silly, really, not to take advantage of that. I do make a lot of my own rubs. I have tried quite a few commercial rubs as well. A few of the American ones, like Big Popper, make some decent rubs. They're quite heavy on salt, but they've got some great flavors. But I think hands down, like the best commercial rubs that I've tried are the One Man Barbecue Army, Steve Hayes' rubs. I know that Dr. Evil was talking about them on the show last week, but they're awesome rubs. I don't know if you've tried any yourself.
Yeah, we've tried pretty much all of them.
Yeah, I've got got them all.
They are good, aren't they? They're really, really, really.
I haven't actually tried. He's got some new ones out that I haven't actually tried. Like I think the meat makeup and stuff like that. I haven't had a go at yet.
Yeah, but, I've not tried those ones. I've just the standard, the Gorilla Powder and the Heavy Artillery, that range there. I saw he put out a message at one point saying like he's going to stop doing the Molotov editions. So if you want to get some, then this is going to be the last lot. And I was like,
that's my favourite.
Yeah, went on and just ordered like 10 kilos.
Yeah, they're decent. I mean, he's knocking out some amazing stuff. His web's great. And yeah, but generally, you know, I just tend to mix my own. I just enjoy the process. And yeah, you can kind of, you know, have a play around. It's all about experimenting, really, isn't it?
Yeah. Do you have a standard sort of go-to selection of spices for you, like a standard barbecue?
I mean, generally, I mean, I tweak it all the time. Like, I think every time I make a batch up, I will try something a little bit different. But generally, it's, you know, I'll use a soft brown sugar. I'll use like a kosher salt and paprika. I normally use a bit of smoked and a bit of standard paprika. I like to mix paprikas up, one for colour and two for flavour, obviously. A little bit of chili powder, normally like an ancho chili powder or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And a bit of cumin normally, and I like playing around with different types of peppercorns. So I don't know if you've heard of long peppercorns before. They're quite, you know, they're just like long peppercorns, but they give a great flavour. So I've been using those quite a bit, and mixed peppercorns, garlic powder, onion powder, and that's, you know, that's pretty much the basics, and then you can sort of
tweak it as you want to go. Yeah. No, I'm fairly similar. Sounds pretty similar to sort of stuff I tend to go for, which is awesome.
Yeah, it's just about getting your ratios right, really, isn't it? And just playing around with the different sort of the sweet and the heat, and you know, the salt content. It's, you know, it is a balancing game, and it, you know, it all depends on what you're cooking. But I generally have quite a stock rub, and then depending on what I'm cooking, I will, you know, I'll add some more stuff to it. If I'm cooking a pork shoulder for a long time, I won't put. I'll kind of mix a few other spices in with it, so it's not too sugary, so it doesn't burn too easily. You know, so it's just about tweaking things, really, and having a play around.
Yeah, awesome. I was cooking at the weekend for some. I mean, I'm quite a chili head. I like things to be a little bit hotter, full of flavour still, but I just like things to be a little bit hotter. So for me, I just had to ramp it back a little bit, because I had some people around at the weekend which aren't such chili heads, and I know that whenever I make food for them, they're always like too hot every single time. So it's just like one of those where, okay, you got your sort of standard rubs, and then you just adjust it for your guests or for your meat, or for your cook or whatever, which is quite nice. That's one of the beauties about making it yourself, I feel. But at the same time, I'm all for commercial rubs and support a few people and tried amazing ones. But at the same time, I do love making my own and really enjoy what you can get from that.
Yeah, definitely. It's all part of the fun, I think. Do you know what I mean? But I know that I know a lot of the competition barbecuers, you know, they are sort of, I think it must be just the consistency, I think, and they sort of, you know, a lot of them use commercial rubs and mix the commercial rubs together, which is cool. They know what they're doing. I'm not a competition barbecuer, but I know Matt Deacon, who from Smokers Pokers, he knows his commercial rubs, and you know, he's got his reasons why he uses them, and you know, I totally respect that as well. You know.
Yeah, well, if you're in a competition, you've got to be consistent. I mean, you've got to know what you're putting into it is what you got last time, but you've tweaked it a bit.
You've got to know what the judges go for as well, I guess.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's all part of it, really, isn't it? So.
Mm-hmm. That's like what the Pro Q guys were saying about the wood blocks, the wood chunks and stuff. And I'm lucky enough to have a guy who lives across the road who's a tree surgeon, so I get some wood from him. And I hadn't thought about it in that way, that actually with those blocks, you know, every single time if you put in 3 blocks and you know what you're getting and stuff like that. I've only just really started recently to start monitoring what I'm putting, because I've always been the sort of cook, chuck a bit of this, chuck a bit of that. And
I'm the same. I sort of, before I start a cook, I'm like, right, I'm just going to make a note of everything that I'm doing, and I just never really do it. It always turns out all right, but you know, if you're going for that consistency, if you want to be winning competitions, then you need to be on point with your consistency, really, and definitely knowing how much wood you're putting in, and what, you know, the same rub you're using is the same sort of batch from last time, and you know, there's a lot to it, but yeah, I'm a little bit more slapdash like yourselves, I think.
Yeah. So what's your favourite wood for smoking with?
Do you know what? I kind of like apple. I've got loads of apple, which I think I've just got used to it, so I do really enjoy that. But apple and cherry is a nice mix. I like using hickory as well, but I don't have any of that to hand. I mean, it depends on what I'm cooking, really. I mean, for beef, I really like an oak or an hickory with beef. I've got quite a bit of oak still from the competition that I won, actually, Pro Key blocks of oak. So I use that for my beef. If I'm doing a pork shoulder, I'll do some apple and cherry over that. So yeah, I mean, I don't really have a favourite, but you know, I've favourites for different types of meat that I like to use.
Is there certain woods that burn better in the drum smoker, or does any type of wood work in it?
Any type of wood works in it, really, as long as it's obviously seasoned properly. You know, I mean, you don't really have to use a lot of wood in them, I've got to say. It's like a couple of decent chunks will just sort of burn away for hours and hours and hours and hours. I mean, I was quite surprised when I first got into it how little wood you actually used. I learned the hard way. I just thought you'd need to use loads, so just shut loads in there. I was like, oh, it's pretty acrid and bitter. But I mean, as you know, you don't. Some people have, you know, prefer it a lot more smoky, but I just think, you know, less is more sometimes, especially with you know, some of the heavier woods for sure. So yeah, I mean, I haven't really noticed any sort of difference in, you know, the burn times of the woods that I'm using, because I try and sort of pick equal sort of size lumps every time, sort of fist-size lumps if I can, and they you know, I'll put 3 chunks in that will last, you know, a full cook really.
Great.
Cool. We've touched on rubs and woods and stuff. Do you ever brine or inject your meats for home at cooking?
I have done. I mean, I do brine quite a bit anyway outside of barbecue, and it definitely. I mean, I know there's a bit of a debate on the internet about the brining thing the other week, but I mean, to be honest with you, I actually, you know, I think it helps for sure. I like to brine my chickens. I think they just turn out awesome once you brine the chicken. I brined a pork tenderloin actually last weekend, and I just grilled that after it being in the brine for, you know, 12 hours, and that was absolutely awesome. When I do a brisket, I'll inject it. So I'll use a sort of a beef consomme, or like a nice clean beef stock, a bit of soy sauce, you know, anything sort of umami sort of flavours. I'd use that for beef. For pork shoulders, I do tend to inject those as well. I use like an apple juice, a bit of cider vinegar, a bit of sugar, a bit of Worcester sauce, maybe chucking a bit of, you know, barbecue sauce that I've made or something like that, just to add a little bit more flavour, which you can do with pork, because it tends to enjoy a bit of a beef up, you know. So yeah, I marinate. I mean, I wet marinate stuff as well. So mix in a bit of like a neutral sort of taste in oil with some barbecue rub that I've made up, and use that as a rub on chicken or chicken breasts or something before grilling. So yeah, I do marinade, I inject, so I dry rub, I experiment with it all, to be honest with you. I love it all.
Awesome. It's great to have so many tools in the arsenal, and that's what I think. I love brining chicken as well. I love brining. I'm a big fan of brining and experimenting with it, but I don't brine every time. I sometimes do, sometimes don't. Again, it goes back to like who I'm cooking for or what I'm trying to achieve, and I think it's the beauty of it.
Time. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, if you've got the time. Yeah, I mean, sometimes I'm like, finished work, and I haven't got anything that I'm having for dinner tonight, so I'll just go to the shop and buy some chicken, and I'm not going to then go home and brine it for 12 hours. So it's just one of those things that is.
One of those things, yeah. If you've got the ingredients lying around and you've got the time, why not try it? And if you don't see any benefits from it, just don't do it again. You know,
you've got to try these things out, haven't you? Try it for yourself.
Exactly.
What would go into a standard brine of yours then?
It's basic, like salt, sugar, and then some aromatics really. So I'll chuck in something like lemon halves, bay leaf, peppercorns, anything that I've got to hand really. Fresh herbs, whatever I've got really.
Awesome,
cool. Yeah, I don't really stick to too many rules. I mean, I might use some reference for the sort of ratios of salt and sugar and things like that, if I'm using those, just so I don't, you know, go overboard with it. But in terms of aromatics, it's kind of what you've got to hand, really, what's growing in the garden and what you've got on the shelves.
Awesome.
What would be your favourite cook at home? Have you got like a family favourite, which everyone's always like, please, Danny, cook us this?
Well, we always, whenever the barbecue gets lit, there's always some ribs on there, so I'd say like there's always ribs being cooked whenever we do a barbecue. But go-to, I mean, it's hard. It's like cooking it all, really. So there's always ribs on, but when we're doing ribs, I mean, I like doing like lamb breast is probably one of my sort of signature dishes that I like doing on there.
Yeah.
Which is kind of a really cheap cut, which you're probably aware of, and you know, you roll it out, stuff it with capers and garlic and fresh herbs, roll it back up, and then sort of tie it up, and then just smoke that nice and hot for a few hours, and then wrap it up to tenderize it, and you just end up with this beautifully fork tender chunks of lamb. It's delightful. That's a family favourite. Pork belly's another one. We cook quite a bit of pork belly around here. So yeah, I mean, I don't have a particular favourite that I enjoy cooking. I just think I like cooking it all, to be honest with you.
With that, did you describe that lamb? Did you say you cook it, like smoke it out, and then roll it up afterwards, and then?
Yeah, no. I basically, I'll get it from the butcher. It will just be sort of like a big, messy sort of lump of lamb breast, and I'll sort of trim it up a little bit, take any sort of excess fat off it, and then I'll sort of marinate the inside of it, stuff it, and roll it up, and then I'll cook it sort of rolls, if you know what I mean.
Okay, yeah.
So it's not, it just, and then when it's actually cooked, you can slice it into discs. You know, it looks quite chefy, and it looks nice on the plate. But
yeah, it does looks the part, doesn't it? I got a whole lamb from my friend Joe, who's a farmer, and that was like one of the pieces left at the end that I'd never cooked before, which I did the other day. So did something very similar with. Yeah, it went pretty well actually. Yeah, went something similar to you, I guess, really. But I went for like a spinach and mushrooms and a few herbs and spices in there, and then just rolled it up and smoked it for 2 or 3 hours, and that was, it was pretty good actually. Brought some in for Barbecue Monday, didn't I?
Yeah.
Sounds good.
We had quite an epic Barbecue Monday today.
Yeah, we both done like quite big cooks over the weekend, so we had an epic Monday today. I mean, we started off, I think it was around like sort of 11 o'clock with a pulled pork roll.
And brioche buns.
Then we progressed.
It's
a bit of crackling. That progressed on to some lollipop chicken, some. Then like
went in.
Then that moved on to Dino Turds, courtesy of Marcus Borden. And then we finished off with some chicken thighs. So today's been a good day.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, incredible. Not bad for a Monday, for sure.
Yeah, the missus is going to be listening. She's going to tell me off when I get home now.
I saw those lollipop chickens you cooked, actually. They looked like they turned out awesome.
Yeah, they tasted awesome.
I was really happy with them, actually.
I've done them once before. They look the part, don't they? And they do taste great, for sure.
Yeah, definitely. They're nice to eat as well. Like the way it's done, it's just like doesn't feel as messy. It feels a bit easier to eat as well.
Yeah, for sure.
You touched on the fact that you haven't competed yourself. Is that something you're looking at doing, or do you, or not really, or?
Do you know what? It's something that I'm really interested in. It's not something that I'm I want to start a team or anything, but I am actually cooking this year in grill stock. I'm helping Matt from Smokers Papers for kind of, we're going to join forces, so I will be cooking at grill stock this year as part of a team, so that'll be my first sort of bit of competition cooking that I would have experienced, really. So I am really looking forward to it. Just to sort of, it's going to be a good experience.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
So,
and you're going to be cooking on one of your drums there?
Yeah, I'm going to have a few of them set up, I think.
Yeah.
I'll be cooking on the drums for sure. It's the only thing I know how to cook on.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm going to be cooking on those. So yeah, obviously there'll be all the the main handings, which is sort of ribs, pork, brisket, and chicken. I think Matt's going to obviously nail those because that's his forte, and then I'm going to be taking care of the burger and the chef's choice and the wings. I do believe. Hopefully not all on my own. I'm a little bit nervous, but it's all about the fun, really, isn't it? And we're just going to have a crack, I think, and see how it goes. But yeah, it's just going to be cool seeing how the other teams work and meeting a few people and picking up some new ideas and techniques and all the rest of it.
Yeah, exactly. It's barbecue at the end of the day. You're going to have fun. Do you know what I mean? You're going to have a good time. There's going to be plenty of familiar faces around and people you're going to meet, and we'll be there to try some of it. Don't worry. And we'll be over to hang around and say hello.
A few names to faces. I'm actually going on a little competition barbecue course, actually, run by Steve that we were talking about earlier on. So it's Steve, Charlie, and Alan, so it's Hammer and Tongs, Smoking Penguin, and Priscilla, all joining forces to put on a barbecue course day, basically. So I'm hoping that I'll come away from that with a bit more knowledge and a bit more geared up to the event. So I'm really excited about that. It should be pretty cool.
Yeah, that looked like an epic course. Like three amazing barbecue teams putting on a course together. That looks pretty awesome. So I'm sure you're going to learn so much on that day. For anyone that's listening that would like to get in that course in the future, you said it was with Priscilla, Charlie, and
so it's Smoking Penguin, Hammer and Tongs, and Priscilla, Queen of the Fire Pit. They're the three teams that are sort of all combining forces to put on this day of epic food and endless techniques, and it's going to be awesome, I think.
Cool. Sounds good to me. And if people wanted to find you, so they're going to find you at Grill Stock, you're going to be cooking there. Any other events or anything you're going to be doing over the summer?
I think I'm pretty sure that I'll be at Burnham on Sea Festival and doing something with that. Are you guys going to be there as well for that?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, we've confirmed we're there. It's out.
Yeah, I'm going to be there one way or whether I'm sort of doing a demo on the drums or just helping to cook. I want to be involved as much as possible this year, really. So I'll definitely be there, helping out there, and hopefully doing a little demo on the drums and a little demo cooking stuff. So I'll be doing that. Obviously doing Grill Stock. And I had an interesting email from Carhartt. I'm not sure if you know Carhartt, the sort of clothing brand.
Oh yeah.
They dropped me an email, and they're looking to do some sort of work, like collaboration projects together this year, which is pretty exciting. So I might be popping up at some of their events and some of their little store openings and stuff like that. Really, I don't really know too much about it, 'cause we're in talks and we've got to have meetings and stuff. But that should be pretty exciting. But
watch this space.
Yeah, breaking news, guys. You heard it here first.
So I'll put some info up on the Facebook page and stuff when I find out about that. So that'll be pretty cool. Other than that, there's a few other things in the pipeline as well. I mean, to be honest with you, I kind of want to start just progressing the business a little bit more in terms of obviously keep on knocking out some decent smokers, but then looking to sort of doing a bit of catering myself. So doing some pop-up events in Bristol and, maybe at some other events, some food festivals and stuff. So start doing that. It's kind of what I want to get into, as well as making the drums. So it's kind of, it branches out a little bit, but it's still under all the same umbrella, you know what I mean? So,
yeah, awesome.
Yeah.
Although London will always be like the hub of all activity in the UK, it seems like Bristol have really gotten behind the sort of barbecue scene, and I suppose Grill Stock probably has a lot to do with that and sort of the catalysts of that. But it seems like you're in a really good place to get cracking on a lot of different things. It seems like Bristol's really got behind barbecue.
Bristol's sick for everything, from music, food, just a general culture, street art, everything. It's an awesome place to be, and I mean there's something for everyone here, and everything sort of seems to take off, and there is a scene here for everything, and definitely barbecue and just general good food here is everywhere. There's lots of little street food pop-up events. There's people doing different things. Obviously we've got Grill Stock here. There's some other, we've got a meat liquor now. There's some other people doing some barbecue stuff. So yeah, it's a cool place to be. And I think, good barbecue, everyone has a good bit of barbecue. So as long as you're doing it properly, people are going to eat it, I think.
Yeah, meat liquor. I'm going to jump in with a story. I'm one of the Triple Chili Challenge winners. I went there, I was a little bit, I'm going to have to put it out. I was a little bit disappointed with the Triple Chili Challenge. If you're listening, you can send your hate mail to me and I'll deal with that and come back. You can do me a better challenge. I mean, I was on a date with,
not with me.
Not with barbecue, not with Big Barb's Forte. I was with the missus, and I actually tried being a little bit more sophisticated. I did it with a knife and a fork, and I still smashed the time. I was like under half the time limit with a knife and a fork, and I was like, well, that was disappointing. Got a free meal though.
There's a challenge in Bristol in a little place called the Hobgoblin, and they've got smokers at the back, and they smoke all their own pulled pork and stuff, and they've got a challenge there. I think only one person's done it. It's ridiculous, Dan. I mean, if you're ever in Bristol, I'll take you there and I'll watch.
He's up for the challenge. He loves a good challenge.
You'll KO yourself. It's just monstrous, but yeah.
Sick. I'll definitely take you up on that. Don't worry. Awesome.
Yeah, I mean they've got a board up on the wall, and it's you've got the winners on the one side and all the people that failed on the other. Like one half of the wall, the failures are just taking up the whole wall, and then there's just one guy looking real happy with himself, but a little bit sweaty on the winning side.
There'll soon be two.
Yeah. Cool. I'll hold you to that one. Yeah.
A good promotion for the podcast as well, wouldn't it?
Yeah, we can do a live podcast whilst eating. I might be a bit quiet, but we'll give it a go.
I'll commentate it. Can we talk a little bit more about the customization and stuff that you do to the drum smokers?
Sure.
Like what's available to us as options when we order one?
Okay, so I mean the options are. I mean there's not too many options because they work so well as they are. I mean, but the more popular ones are people having more cooking levels put in. So, for instance, you could have one just for cooking rigs if you wanted to. So you could have like four levels that are really close together. So you could just literally use it as a rig cooking machine, or you can have an extra 2 racks in. So you've got obviously like a Smoky Mountain or a Pro Q. So you've got 2 stackers, and then you can still use the lower U bolts to put a water pan or a deflector on, so it doubles the capacity. People have the silicone probe eyelets put in, so you can use your Mavericks or your Barbecue Gurus.
Oh, awesome.
Also, we do the Barbecue Guru adapters that actually fix onto the vent, so you can just plug your fans straight into it, because they work really well with the Gurus as well. And obviously the colours is probably the main thing.
Some of them are absolutely beautiful colours. They're unreal.
Yeah. I mean, I picked. I mean, I can do a lot more colours, but I've just sort of picked a handful. Well, I think there's 9 or 10 that are just that sell really well, and they just look awesome. I mean, when you see them in real life, they look even more awesome. That's what people say anyway, and they do look pretty cool. So you've got the standard colours that are kind of like a gloss finish, and then you've got the metallic finishes, which look totally cool, and then there's anodized finishes, which are even more special. I'm actually going to start a purple anodized one tonight, actually, after I get off the phone to you guys. So, yeah, keep an eye out for the photos of that one.
Nice.
Awesome. I've seen some very happy customers that have written some reviews of them, which have been awesome.
I know, it's so cool, man. I mean, everyone's been. I think I like to help as much as I can, and obviously provide a lot of sort of customer support, and it's very sort of direct. When people are talking to me, they can just talk to me on Facebook or call me, and I'll offer support. So yeah, keep the customers happy, and if they ever need any help using the equipment and stuff, I'm more than happy to help them out. But yeah, generally they just look really cool, and I think for the money, you get a really, really decent smoker for the money, and yeah, competition quality really,
Yeah, so as standard, you come with like the hooks for hanging your accessories and your bottle opener and all those bits.
That's it. You get everything in the kit, so you get quite a decent thermometer. You get your pencil hooks, you get stainless steel handles, you get your vents, you get your charcoal basket, you get your vents on the top. So yeah, everything that you need. I mean, the only extras are that you'd need to pay for really are the extra grill grates and the silicone probe eyelets, and you can have those installed wherever you want, and obviously the Barbecue Guru vent system, which you can add on as well.
Cool. And do you ship everywhere in the UK? Is there anywhere you don't ship to?
Everywhere in the UK. Yeah, I mean, I've shipped them up to Scotland. I've shipped them all over the UK really. I mean, we do recommend that people come and sort of pick them up if they can do, and sort of make a day out in Bristol. Always recommend coming, visit the city, go to some nice food, and that way I can actually meet the people that are buying them and sort of talk them through everything, and we just make sure they're happy before they part with their cash, really, which is all part of it. I just want to make sure people are happy with their product. And, yeah.
Good. Sounds like great service.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah, man, that's what it's all about, really, isn't it? And if they can't make it out, then I'm more than happy to ship them out to people. It took me a few days to a few headaches, just trying to get the packaging right. obviously they're massive and they weigh sort of like 27 kilos, so they're not the easiest things to move around. But yeah, I've got on top of all the packaging now, and they also run safely, so that's a good thing.
I know for a fact we've got some European listeners because they've been messaging me and stuff. Would you ever consider shipping to Europe?
Yeah, definitely. I've done a quote to someone actually in Germany. They were after one, so yeah, I think that I can ship them wherever. If people are willing to pay for the shipping, I can get them a quote. Obviously, I don't make any money out of the shipping. I will just give them, the direct cost, and if they're willing to, pay the shipping, I will send them safely anywhere. Not a problem.
Nice. That's awesome to know. So get onto your website, which is Bristol Drum Smokers .co.uk.
Yeah, .co.uk. It's a work in progress. The website. I'm building it all myself. Never built a website. Just sort of learning as I go along. I'm getting there. But the main thing was just to get the site up and sort of direct people to my Facebook page in the meantime, where they can talk to me and place orders. So the website's up. It's got directions on how to use the smokers, so there's sort of photos of how to sort of set the smoker up and how to load it up and how to get cooking on it, which is like the main thing that people need to know. But there will be the shop will be ready this week, and I will start putting some recipes and some other goodies and stuff on there. So yeah, it's www.bristoldrumsmokers.co.uk.
And Facebook, just search for Bristol Drum Smokers.
Yeah, facebook.com/Bristol Drum Smokers. And yeah, that's if you need to talk to me, just drop me a message on there and I'll get back to you. And we're on Instagram as well, which is I've written it down somewhere because I always forget this one. It's Bristol Drum Smokers _UK, and we're on Twitter as well, which is BB Smokers @BB Smokers. So yeah, we're on the internet here and there. I spend more on the Facebook page really, but check out Instagram for some sort of foodie pics and stuff as well.
Awesome. So get on there and check them out, guys. Give them some follows.
Definitely.
You happy?
Yeah, that's awesome.
That was awesome.
So
That was a
we're
really good
actually
chat.
about hitting the hour mark, so I'm going to knock it on the head there, if that's all right. And yeah, that was brilliant. Good chatting to you. Really good chatting to you, and thank you very much. I've actually learnt quite a bit, so I've got a few notes here for me to go home and actually try a few things out. So that was absolutely awesome, Danny. Thank you very much.
That's what it's all about. No, thank you for having me on, man. It was a pleasure to talk to you guys, and yeah, I look forward to meeting you guys over the summer at some events, hopefully.
Yeah,
we're definitely
We'll
going to see you. Yeah, definitely going to see you around. So cheers, Danny. Thank you very much, and we'll chat soon.
All right, take it easy, guys.
Thanks for tuning in, guys, to UnitedQ BBQ Podcast, the only barbecue podcast in the UK, brought to you by your host, Dan from UnitedQ, and his co-host, BBQForte.
Goodbye.
This episode is brought to you by our kind sponsors, ProQ Smokers. ProQ is dedicated to providing you with quality smoking products with a top-notch service and free advice for beginners to pitmasters. And you can find them on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram under ProQ Smokers. Cheers for listening, guys, and look forward to seeing you next week.
Goodbye.
Bye.